ladies and gentlemen, 2022. Well, we got a couple more days left, of course, but we have entered the final week of the year 2022, so I think it's safe to say the year is in the books. And let me tell you something. From this wrestling fan's opinion, oh wow, we're kicking things off with a super chat.
Most improved wrestler, Logan Paul.
Get out! Get out! Nope! You're not bringing that craziness into this stream. No, don't leave Valhalla. We'll talk about it when we get to it. As I was saying, the year's wrapping up, so it's that time of year again when we do the best of 2022 awards. Of course, we're talking about the end of the year wrestling awards. I'm here to give you guys who I think are the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. Best wrestler of the year, best tag team of the year, best segment, best champion, babyface, heel, headline of the year. Is going to be very, very interesting. We're going to talk about it all. We're just here to recap the best of wrestling. And I gotta be honest with you, just to kind of give you guys a summary of how I feel about wrestling this year. In terms of the on-screen product, this goes for WWE, AEW, everywhere. Impact Wrestling, even companies like GCW, Ring of Honor, PWG. In terms of wrestling, while the quality has been awesome, I think overall the wrestling quality, fantastic. It's one of the best wrestling years I personally have sat through. The product, though, it's been good. Just good. Pay-per-views, AEW pay-per-views, have always been awesome. They were awesome this year. Every single one of them. One of them did win an award, by the way. We'll talk about that in a second. But that's, no different than any other year. Of course their pay-per-views are awesome. They've always been awesome. WWE this year has stepped up their game. The quality of their pay-per-views, I think consistently, outside of the Royal Rumble, which was not a good show, every other show past the Royal Rumble has been good to great. Especially these last few pay-per-views. From SummerSlam to Clash at the Castle to freaking War Games. Freaking War Games Survivor Series. Think about that. Think of how far we've come with Survivor Series. Because before this, it was a dead show. The concept, Raw vs. SmackDown, was beyond just boring and lifeless. Now we've advanced it. We've upgraded it to War Games. And if this is going to be an annual event, it's easily one of the best things that can come out of Triple H's regime this early. The product has been good, though. Although we've gotten a lot of returns. A ton of returns. WWE and AEW, across the board. I don't really feel like it was one of those years where the TV product blew me away. I enjoyed it. I was invested. I loved coming up here talking about it. You have your moments. You have to have your moments. And you know what? Sometimes that's good enough for me. 2022 was a good year for wrestling. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's one of the greatest years in terms of on-screen product. It's just been good. That said, everything that people are going to remember about 2022 when it comes to wrestling has to do with what happened outside of the ring. This was the year for wrestling news. If you just watched the TV product, you had a good time. But if you were an internet fan, if you followed wrestling on Twitter, Facebook, if you follow Sean Ross Sapp, who, by the way, bought a house this year, just saying, that's where we are when it comes to wrestling now. The draw is not what happens on TV. It's what happens off screen. This was the year where wrestling news took over the business. So many headlines. So many headlines. Even the list that I have. The list is so big that the majority of this broadcast is going to be dedicated to the headlines. So as I said to you before, the best things about this year were the wrestling and the wrestling news. I'm hoping 2023, we see more emphasis on characters. We see more emphasis on stories. We see more emphasis on making these television shows must see. Because with Triple H now in charge, I'm expecting the storytelling to make, it already has, it's made a drastic improvement. But I'm expecting it to go to the next level. So I'm very excited to see what Triple H has in store for us in the next year. Tony Khan found his bearings again. These last few months have been very trying for him. Extremely trying. From the media scrum, we'll talk about that, to losing William Regal, and of course, his mother having a stroke. He hasn't been on his game. These last few months, we've seen the worst from Tony Khan. But I think he's found himself again. And I'm expecting great things. I am expecting great things from AEW in 2023. And best believe I'll be here to talk about it. That said, I do not expect 2023 to be as crazy in terms of wrestling news as it was this year. It is one of the craziest years when it comes to wrestling news. Can I just give you a synopsis of all the shit we experienced? We need to go through just some of the craziness we dealt with. Of course, you guys know the big thing we thought was going to be the story of the year was Cody Rhodes jumping ship from AEW to WWE. Even now, it hasn't registered how big this is. This is massive. This is one of the founders of All Elite Wrestling. One of their top stars, a main event player. A man that took more shots at WWE than anyone else. Leaving the company that he started to join WWE. And to be honest with you, it was probably the best decision he made, considering what ended up happening. But that's still one of the craziest things I personally have ever seen. Just what the hell? You know what I mean? Of course, we can't forget about the death of Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. We also lost Japan legend Antonio Inoki. 2 massive deaths. Hit really hard. Mickie James. Mickie James appeared in the Rumble, the Women's Rumble, as Women's Impact Wrestling, Women's Knockout Impact Wrestling Champion. First time that's ever happened. The Undertaker was inducted into the Hall of Fame. We can't forget about Big E, the tragedy of Big E breaking his neck. And of course, no one's to blame for that. That happens all the time. Hopefully he makes a strong recovery. Honestly, at this point, if he doesn't wrestle again, it would be heartbreaking. All I care about is if he's able to have a normal life. That's all I care about. But I do hope we do see him come back. If Edge can come back, if Bryan Danielson can come back, if Saraya can come back, Big E can definitely come. He can definitely come back. Speaking of Saraya, this made me so happy. The former Paige, the artist, the wrestler, formerly known as Paige from WWE, Saraya made her in-ring return. I was so happy. So happy to hear that, man. Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor. Like, we thought Ring of Honor was dead. But Tony Khan resurrected it. Bought it and had literally a string of awesome pay-per-views. I don't think there was a single Ring of Honor pay-per-view that sucked. All of them have been awesome. New Japan Pro Wrestling introduced the IWGP Women's Championship. We also saw the end of NXT UK. So much more. And guys, that's not even all of it. I think we all know what the headline of the year is. Let's save that for the end. So we're going to go ahead and get things started. We're going to kick things off with the awards. Here's how I'm going to do it. Usually what I do is I start from headline of the year and I go straight to wrestler of the year. I'm going to reflect this year based off of how I organize this award ceremony. I'm going to start with wrestler of the year. Yeah. I'm starting out with wrestler of the year and I'm going to go backwards. We're going to do wrestler of the year. We're going to do tag team of the year, faction, pay-per-view, return of the year. I think we know what that one is, although it was a very competitive year for returns. Feud of the year, promotion, commentator, segment, best champion, best heel, best babyface, rookie, most improved, breakout star. But then we're going to conclude with match of the year and headline of the year. Those are the two most important things this year. The match quality and the headlines. And I have a lot to say when it comes to match of the year. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for making me a part of your day. Let's go ahead and pay these bills and get right to the show. You know how we do it. If this is the first time you're watching me, do me a solid favor. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell. Catch all my content when it comes out. While you're at it, help expand the brand by doing the following things. Join the membership, click that join button, and get the opportunity to request a video of your choosing. Whether it's a live reaction, hot topic, or review, past, present, or future. Also, don't forget to, give thanks, hit that super thanks. If you would like to donate after the fact, you can also like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, just Alyx Central. Give me a follow on Instagram, give me a follow on Spotify, and give me a follow on TikTok. For I am the tickest of the talkest. Donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cashapp, VENMO, and Super Chats are officially on. You can donate at any point in time during the broadcast to get your thoughts played live on the air. Email me at justalyxsworld@gmail.com for business inquiries, just to say hi, and please get yourself a t-shirt today in Pro Wrestling Tees and Teespring. Get you an old school Dual X-Men t-shirt, get you a new school Alyx's World t-shirt, but most importantly, get you a blonde hair, blue eyes, apple pie. America, the remix, oh yeah! T-shirt made by It's Janoxy Firestar Heart. All of this down below in the description box. And today's sponsor is Audible. Get you a free trial of Audible using the link, using the promo code. Everything is free $99 for a month. Try it out. Try Audible for a month for free. I think you actually might like what you hear. Because it is Audible. Audiobooks. WWE, Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson. Maybe you just want to get a podcast or two. When you're exercising, when you're doing your thing, doing your errands. Maybe you should get a quick word from them. Maybe they can convince you better than I can. So let's do that. Let's get a quick word from our sponsor. And then, of course, we'll get to some shoutouts. Today's video is sponsored by Audible. Audible is the leading provider of audiobooks. They have over 180,000 audiobooks to choose from, including books written by wrestling legends like Chris Jericho, Mick Foley, Bryan Danielson, Drew McIntyre, and Jim Ross. Today, if you visit www.audibletrial.com, just Alyx, you can get one free audiobook of your choosing. Audible is the best place for audiobooks, and I cannot recommend it enough. In my time, I've listened to Chris Jericho's The Best in the World and Bryan Danielson's Yes books, both narrated by them personally. And here's the best part. Even if your membership wears out or you just aren't satisfied with the product, you can cancel your free trial at any time, and your audiobooks are yours to keep. So again, go to audibletrial.com, just Alyx, and begin your journey today. For me, 2022 is going to rank up there as one of the most memorable years in wrestling, period. Not just for WWE, but across the board. So much shit happened. Even with the smaller companies. We'll talk about Nick Aldis and NWA in a second. Poor Matt Cardona got injured. He was having an amazing run this year. And he got derailed. So much to talk about. But like I said, We're going to start things off with Wrestler of the Year. And then we're going to work backwards. Because we gotta take time to talk about Headline of the Year and then Match of the Year. There were so many great matches this year, you have no idea. But when I think about what wrestler personifies 2022, we had a lot of them. I thought MJF became a star this year. He really took this year by the horn and made it its bitch. This was a guy that was sick of just being seen as a potentially main eventer, a potentially great face of the company. Nah, he wanted to be the face. And guess what? He became the face. Someone that definitely should be remembered for having a hell of a year. Winning the World Championship, the AEW World Championship at the end of it. Jon Moxley proved that he is definitely the heart and soul of AEW. When things went wrong, things went awry, if you will, with the media scrum, he was supposed to go on vacation. Tony Khan called him in and said, please save me. Jon Moxley came in, saved him. Became a 3-time AEW World Champion. Don't ever question his loyalty to All Elite Wrestling. Hangman Page. People forget that he had a hell of a run with that world title. I think it goes without saying that guy has proven to be one of the best wrestlers to come out of AEW. I do feel bad that he got hurt. The injury that he suffered at the hand of, again, an accident, Jon Moxley, when he got that lariat. But he's back, and they're turning it into a storyline. I am very excited to see where that leads next year. It's looking like it's building to a pay-per-view match. Probably a lights-out match. And I think after that match, Jon Moxley would take his vacation, and he's going to need it. He is definitely going to need it. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has been fantastic this year. Still don't get his character. But I'm at the point now where I've just accepted that. Alright. I don't know what he's doing, but I don't think he does either, and it's still over. It's still one of the most over characters this year. Dax Harwood. People want to talk about FTR having a great run as a tag team. I think Dax Harwood is very underrated. Very underrated as a professional wrestler. Cody Rhodes. When he performed with that torn pec at Hell in a Cell. It's kind of hard not to give him his flowers. And we get to the women. Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair was a great champion this year. I think she was a champion pretty much for the majority of the year. And now she's signing on with a Hollywood agency. Homegirl's about to go to Hollywood. I'm happy for her. Give her her flowers. Thunder Rosa. Even though she didn't get a lot of TV time, you can't deny she was an excellent champion when she had a chance to perform inside the ring. Same can be said about Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter really took on that championship role. And when the fans want it, when the fans call for AEW to push her, Tony pushed her, and oh my God, she is phenomenal. We can be here all day to talk about all these great performers. Bryan Danielson also comes to mind. Wheeler Yuta had a breakout. We'll talk about him later on. But you cannot say no one else deserves this award. Outside, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns owned 2022. Quite frankly, he's been owning wrestling for the last 2 years. It's been his bitch. Wrestling has been his. He's owned it in every single way. Biggest draw, biggest matches, his performance as a heel. It's some of the best work I've seen any wrestler do. And I know a lot of people are waiting on bated breath to see him have his match, with The Rock. I think 2023, I have a feeling we're finally gonna see it. There's something about the build up this time. Because the last few years, you wanted it, but it didn't feel like it was going, like it had to happen. It feels like if it doesn't happen this year, we're never going to get it. I feel like everything they've done with him has been building, and I think this year especially, he's really kicked it up a notch. Come on. I mean, one of the most noteworthy things I saw this year was when he fought Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and Brock Lesnar rose the tractor. He rose the ring with the tractor. Remember when he picked up the ring with a tractor? And Roman rolled out of it? Like, come on, man. And he was involved in all the biggest things this year. He was even involved in War Games. Fought Logan Paul. Ugh. I gotta talk about that, don't I? This year has been Roman's. It's been Roman's. It's not gonna stop being Roman's for a while now. And this is coming from a guy that at one point in time hated Roman Reigns. I can remember even back in the day, I was just like, I can't stand this guy. But it shouldn't be a surprise. It should not be a surprise that Roman Reigns is your wrestler of the year. Because like they always say, we the twos, and he's the one. I see someone in the live chat asking me about Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, I believe, might have had the highest rated matches throughout the year. In terms of in-ring performance, you can argue that he was the wrestler of the year. I'm talking about overall, though. It's just, for me, there's no argument. It's Roman's year. It's always been Roman's year. He's the one. But that's just my opinion. I'm curious to know who's your wrestler of the year. Next up, Tag Team of the Year. My goodness. Usos. Excellent year. Unified both the Raw and SmackDown titles. Because we the twos and they the ones. The Acclaim became a household name. That match against Swerve and Shane Strickland, of course. Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, excuse me. I don't know what I was trying to say. That match with Swerve and Keith Lee at All Out, it's one of the best matches of the year. Absolute classic. Loved it. It was so good that it made fans finally wake up and go, man, the Acclaim is amazing. It got to a point where fans were begging. They were angry that the Acclaim didn't get their moment. But then Grand Slam happened and they got their moment. They are so over that Billy Gunn is relevant again. Billy Gunn is one of the most over things. Scissor Me Daddy Ass is one of the most over things in wrestling right now. And 2022, going into 2023, ain't that something? That's crazy. That's how you know the Acclaim is over. So many other tag teams. I already said Swerve and Keith Lee. Give them credit. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland were an awesome tag team this year. Two main event players, eventually transitioning into main eventers. We saw the beginning of that last week. I don't care what y'all say. I don't give a damn about how you feel about the segment. You can say it was bad. But Rick Ross looking at Keith Lee going, "You a big motherfucker." I love it. It's one of the best lines of the entire year. I don't care what y'all got to say. But as a tag team, oh my goodness, some of the best tag team matches I've seen. Young Bucks, of course. Give them credit, give them love. Although they were not seen as much. And you know why. Because of the media scrum. When they did wrestle, it was hard to top them. Lucha Bros. I mean, we're talking about trios. Trios titles were, oh my goodness, we'll definitely talk about those matches with the Elite. But the trios matches were some of the best things on all the shows. If I'm being honest with you. There can only be one tag team of the year. And I think when it's all said and done, I expect these guys to be everyone's tag team of the year. Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, FTR. The series with the Briscoes, the match with the Young Bucks, them winning all the belts, being their own versions of the belt collectors. Ring of Honor titles, the IWGP Tag Team titles, the AAA titles. Kind of upset they didn't win the AEW Tag Team titles, which will probably still happen. This year, old school tag team wrestling made its resurgence, thanks to Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. It's not often that you say old school is cool again. These guys made old school cool. And I hear that they're going to take a break sometime next year. I hope that's not the case. I hope they stick around. I just feel like after having a year like this, I wouldn't be upset if they took a break. I just wouldn't. Like, I'm serious. Like, really think about what they did this year. What could they possibly do in 2023 to top it? We'll have to see. But man, I'm telling you right now, like, I just don't see 2023 being as good as 2022 was. What a year for FTR. And tell me when I'm telling lies. Tell me when I'm telling lies. The Ring of Honor pay-per-views would not have done as well as they did if FTR wasn't on it. Tell me when I'm telling lies. The draw, the heart and soul, the main reason you all even watched the Ring of Honor pay-per-views was because of FTR. Am I lying? Tell me when I'm telling lies. All right. I'm telling y'all. Y'all can sit here all day and tell me this and that, but I think we all know why those Ring of Honor shows did so well. So that's my tag team of the year. Faction of the year. I mean, what? Honor No More? What? The QT Marshall Factory? What? I think we know what faction of the year, but I will say this. The BCC Club, the Blackpool Combat Club. If I can be honest with you like that was such a surprise to me. William Regal showing up. We'll talk about him definitely. There's so much we gotta talk about. Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley being a tag team. Did not see that coming. Then that match with Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta, which one of the most craziest underdog performances I've ever seen. I think it didn't get 5 stars from Dave Meltzer. No, it got like 4.75. It almost got a 5-star from Dave Meltzer. Yeah, that match was phenomenal. It turned Wheeler Yuta from a jobber. Well, it was 2 matches. That match with Bryan Danielson and then the match with Jon Moxley turned him from a jobber into a straight-up star. Yuta was one of the most over talents everywhere he went. And you love to see it. You love to see it, man. And then, of course, we got the addition of Claudio Castagnoli. Man, it just really sucks that Regal left. Because I really thought he added so much to that group. But who knows? We'll see where it goes. Of course, we can't not talk about the Jericho Appreciation Society. This one is special because it's one thing to do what he did with Santana, Ortiz, Sammy, and Jack Swagger. This is a group of people that were nobodies. 2.0, Cool Hand Ange, Daddy Magic, Anna Jay. These are people that you knew about them, but you didn't care about them. He was able to assemble a big group of all these people and turn them into... I'm still shocked at how well he got this over. Daniel Garcia, at one point, you're a wrestler everywhere he went. Like, he was able to bring eyes to a lot of people that weren't getting a lot of attention. So, give them credit where credit is due. But let's not waste any time. Y'all know what the faction of the year is. It's the Bloodline. Roman Reigns, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and of course, Sami Zayn. The honorary Us. Sami Zayn had one of the greatest runs this year. They won all the belts. Literally, well, almost all the belts. But they basically owned the tag team division in the main event scene. They just dominated everybody. And then the storyline with Sami Zayn, which you know is going to be a heartbreaker. I think it starts this Friday with SmackDown. It's been so well produced. Everything with Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, you know where it's going. And when it happens, it's going to be heartbreaking. One of the best things is the best thing to come out of this year. Give him credit, man. The Bloodline has been amazing. And man, Usi, I don't know how you feel about Usi. I don't know if you are Usi. How we feeling? Are we Usi? Because I'm Usi. You would never think that would be one of the hottest phrases in wrestling this year. Usi. Are you feeling Usi, though? This is a great, great faction. And they deserve all the awards, if I'm being honest with you. Pay-per-view of the year. So, if I'm being honest with you, I can definitely name any of the AEW pay-per-views as pay-per-view of the year. I thought Revolution was amazing. WrestleMania was good, but it wasn't as good as Double or Nothing. All Out was awesome too, but I think out of all the pay-per-views, that one might be the weakest. Not saying it was bad, it just didn't compare to what the other shows did. I thought Full Gear was awesome. Outstanding even. If I was to go from AEW to WWE, I can only name you maybe 4 pay-per-views that I thought were great. As I said, WrestleMania was good this year. I really enjoyed Clash at the Castle. That was a great show. SummerSlam was a surprise. Listen, when Vince McMahon got taken out of that position and Triple H took over, he took over immediately. We saw an immediate shift. SummerSlam was great this year. Again, War Games, really good show. You all know what the pay-per-view of the year is. I don't even have to say it. It was something that we thought was not going to happen. And let's just be real. We were kind of scared it wouldn't happen, even when it was going to happen, because of all the injuries. Punk getting injured. Danielson getting injured. Adam Cole got injured at the event. Tomohiro Ishii got injured before the event. It was like everyone was getting hurt. But they still pulled it off. Pay-per-view of the year. New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW Forbidden Door. Top to bottom, one of the best pay-per-views I have ever seen. Despite all the things that stopped it from almost happening, this show was chef's kiss. I think what is it called? Cage Match Net, by the way. Let me pull it up. Cage Match AEW Forbidden Door. Let me see what it rated the show. So, currently, Forbidden Door has a 9.3 on Cage Match Net. Let me give you an idea of where that compares in terms of pay-per-view. So, matter of fact, I think I can pull this up really quickly. But before I do that, let me quickly run down the matches on this card. We had a 6-man tag match. Minoru Suzuki and the Jericho Appreciation Society taking on Eddie Kingston, Shota Umino, and Wheeler Yuta. I remember that match just being crazy, crazy good. I think Dave Meltzer gave that four stars and 4 and was it 4.5 or 4.75? 4.75. Oh my god, 4.75. That was an awesome match. Yeah, FTR winning the IWGP Tag Team titles. Freaking Pac won the All-Atlantic Championship. Pac won a championship. Oh my goodness. Freaking Sting. Dudes with attitude. Shingo Takagi, Sting, and Darby Allin took on the Bullet Club. El Phantasmo, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson. Thunder Rosa had an awesome match with Tony Storm. Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy stole the show with a 5-star classic, in my opinion, for the United States title, IWGP United States title. Freaking Claudio and Zack Sabre Jr. had another awesome match. Adam Cole got injured in the Fatal 4-Way, but that was still an awesome match. And then, of course, the main event was Jon Moxley taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi. If I implore all of you, and I mean this, I implore all of you to find a better show than this, because I don't think you can. This easily was one of the best pay-per-views I have ever seen. Now, I was looking up Cage Match best pay-per-view ever, and I'm going to see if I can find a list of it. Okay, I think I found one. I don't think this is it. Give me a second. I need to find the actual statistics here. I'm trying to see. Here we go. Okay. Took me a while to find it. So come with me to the internet so we can take a look at the database. So here's the database for Cage Match Net. If we go down a little bit, first off, Hana Kimura Memorial, 9.93. Like, you're not gonna. When you look at the top two, Celebrating Brody Lee's life, that's one of the best tribute shows I've ever seen. But if we come down a little bit and we look at what's ranked as the nines, I think it's 9.23. Right there, as a matter of fact. Right there. 9.23. AEW Forbidden Door. Now these includes, see, this stuff includes shows, by the way. I just wanted pay-per-views, but it's up there. Look at this stuff. Lucha Underground's up here too. 9.23. It was rated pretty high. So without question, that show was just out. That was just an awesome pay-per-view for me. Lord have mercy, Return of the Year. Return of the Year. Oh my, where do I start? Like, the returns this year have been insane. The biggest one that just happened, Bray Wyatt at Extreme Rules, got one of the biggest reactions, one of the biggest returns that WWE has ever done. I'm not even kidding you. It was phenomenal. I think this year we saw some of the biggest returns from WWE. That's one of them. Good to have Bray Wyatt back. Sarah Logan came back as Valhalla alongside the Viking Raiders. Mia Yim made her return after being released, let go. Due to that awful storyline, we're not going to talk about it. Emma came back. One of those returns where you're kind of like, all right, welcome back. The OC came back. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Nikki Cross made her return. Well, she's always been here, but Nikki Ash, we're not going to talk about her. I'm just going to pretend she didn't exist. Braun Strowman made his return, and outside of a couple of tweets that made him look stupid, he's been doing pretty well on WWE TV. Hit Row came back. That's all we're gonna say. That's all we're gonna talk about. I'm not gonna talk about anything else. I know y'all want me to say it. I know y'all want me to get into what happened at that one time on SmackDown. I'm just saying. Top Dollar tried to do something, and he went flippity floppity over that top rope. Hopefully, he's able to make up for that botched dive in 2023. Candice LeRae came back. Good to have her back. And if you bring back Candice LeRae, you also have to bring back Mr. Wrestling, Johnny Wrestling. Mr. Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano came back. Dexter Lumis came back. Nah, that was one of those returns where even I was kind of like, are we sure this is what we wanted? His feud with The Miz is, ugh. That's one of those programs where even I have to go, not one of Triple H's best. Still a storyline, and I appreciate it having a beginning, middle, and end, but it's still not great. Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Lady Scarlett came back. This return was awesome when it first happened. Over time, it's been kinda... it's been alright. You know, we'll see where it goes next year. Damage Control. The return of Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. Wow. When you think about the way they came in, the big return, they came in with a lot of momentum. Boy, did that fizzle out. It fizzled out almost as quickly as it started. I just don't think these three work well together. Sometimes it's just like that. It happens. You can be great talents by yourselves, but as a group, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry. I love them as individuals, but Damage Control as a group, I don't think it's working. Hopefully they can do something with it next year where it becomes something palatable, but we need to go ahead and wrap this up. I don't see it working out because it's not working out now. Some minor returns. Lita came back to take on Becky Lynch. Beth Phoenix came back to aid Edge against Maurice and Miz at Rumble. Remember that? Ronda Rousey came back. The less said, the better. But to me, the top three returns. The return of Saraya Paige. This was someone that we thought would never wrestle again. Someone that was told would never wrestle again. When she left WWE, she went to AEW, bet on herself, and said, no, I am going to wrestle again. And she did. Very heartbreaking. Any other year, she would be the return of the year. Unfortunately, she has to compete with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin actually came back and had a match. He had a goddamn match with Kevin freaking Owens. Come on now. Like, this is crazy to me. Stone Cold Steve Austin came back. You would think that would be the story of the year, right? Think about that. The greatest wrestler in WWE history made his return. And I cannot believe I'm saying this. It's probably not on anyone's radar in terms of biggest moments, biggest things that happened this year. That's how crazy 2022 is. 2022 was so crazy that Stone Cold Steve Austin returning isn't even going to win an award. Neither is Kenny Omega returning. Kenny Omega came back this year. Yeah, he was gone for a while. And even he came back. And even that was like, all right, welcome back. Freaking Shibata came back. Freaking Shibata, who cracked his skull, was told he would never wrestle again. He was wrestling again. All of these crazy returns. But the one return people are going to be talking about, was talked about, and will continue to be talked about for years to come, was when Cody Rhodes jumped ship from AEW to WWE. You have to understand, this was literally trending worldwide across all platforms. This news, Cody Rhodes jumping ship from AEW to WWE, changed the game. It was one of those landscape shifting type of moves. And Cody knew it was. Now, we don't know. Even now, we still do not know why he left. He likes to say, I left because it was time to go. It was time to go. I call bullshit. I still think Cody had a lot more to offer. It wasn't like he wasn't getting paid money. He had a great position in the company. He just had a classic with Sammy Guevara. That ladder match is phenomenal. We'll talk about that later on. It wasn't like he wasn't getting championship runs. The fans were reacting. The fans were booing him, but they were still reacting to him. But he said, no. I want to go back to WWE. And I want to be the guy. Now, I remember when this happened. And I was the main one saying this is one of the dumbest things he could ever do. I was like, yo, Cody, why would you leave a company you started? What's going on here? You started AEW. You helped create. You're a founder of All Elite Wrestling. Why would you leave this company to go back to working for Vince? What are you doing? You know, it was one of those things where even I had a hard time believing it. It was like, why would you do it? Why would you do it, Cody? Cody rolled the dice. He left a very healthy, very secure position in AEW. And he said, no, I am going to go be the man in WWE. And he made that debut at WrestleMania. And then he had that series of matches with Seth Rollins, leading into that Hell in a Cell match, which we will talk about, where he tore his pec. And he still wrestled. It was one of those things where you might not like him. You might think what he did was stupid, like I did. But you have to respect his heart. You don't have a return like he did and not talk about it. I am going to remember 2022 for the run that Cody had. And I think this run was so impactful. It was so big. Even Vince McMahon had to acknowledge him as a top guy. I think if he had never gotten hurt, and I still believe this, he probably would have won that world title. But that's okay, because it doesn't matter whether Roman Reigns fights The Rock or not at WrestleMania. I think he is. Cody is the guy to beat Roman Reigns. This is it. He rolled the dice, bet on himself. Luck had its way. Got rid of Vince. Here we go. Cody Rhodes, undefeated, will take on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Yes, he is winning the Royal Rumble. Just so we're clear, he will win the Royal Rumble. And he will be the guy after Roman. That's a hell of a return. It's kind of hard to argue that this is not the return of the year. I encourage you all to find me another one. Feud of the year. We've had our share of feuds this year. But I think we all know what the main feud is. I enjoyed Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. More so this year than any other year. Usually I would hate this feud, but Cowboy Brock was phenomenal. I love me some Cowboy Brock. Come on now, give it to Brock Lesnar. He was very fun this year. The feud with Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch, although it started off with some bullshit, I do think they did a very good job with the story that they were given. So give them credit. Gotta give credit to Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker for having that steel cage match, which gave Thunder Rosa her championship run. FTR and the Briscoes, although not necessarily a story-filled feud, the matches, come on. Just awesome stuff. I think we all know what is going to win Feud of the Year, though. It's kind of hard not to give this award to these guys, but Feud of the Year for me was the stuff between CM Punk and MJF. The promos between these two. And it's hard not to make this your Feud of the Year, because everything that CM Punk is, MJF is becoming. Literally, MJF is CM Punk's dark reflection. Some people might say he's the right side of CM Punk. He's actually his light side. But the storyline is CM Punk is essentially facing himself. He is fighting his dark reflection in MJF in every single way. I love it. I still go back and watch some of their segments. Their promos, the promos these two have had throughout the year, phenomenal. Their matches, even better. That dog collar match at Revolution, it's not a lot of times I talk about dog collar matches. I'm going to talk about 2 of them this year. 2 of them. I'm telling y'all, this is going down as one of those feuds that it's frustrating too when you really think about what this really should have been. Because I honestly believe if Punk had never got hurt, he would have defended that belt against MJF at All Out. And even though he did get hurt, he came back. If he hadn't gotten hurt the second time, he would have defended the belt against MJF at Full Gear. It doesn't matter when he defended the belt. The match should have happened. And I think that would have solidified this as one of the best feuds, period. But even still, knowing that this didn't have the full... It didn't come to fruition in its entirety. How about that? Despite all the craziness, still one of the best feuds this year. And to me, it's the feud of the year. That's just me. Promoist of the year. Eddie Kingston was awesome. I remember his promo he cut on Chris Jericho. You gotta give him some love. Great talker. Just an excellent mic worker. And then coming in out of nowhere, right at the end of 2022, is Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks cut that maxi pad promo on MJF. Give him his flowers. Just amazing stuff. Here's a promoist that people aren't going to talk about, but I do want to give him some love. Sami Zayn. Sami's mic work this year. Like, go back and watch some of his promos. It's been crazy how good he's been on the microphone. Overall, I think it's one of his best years. Now, I think next year's going to be even better, and I'm excited about that. Cody cut some crazy promos. That one promo before he took on Sami in the ladder match. The promo where he talked about doing everything that CM Punk wanted to do on Dynamite. The what do you guys want to talk about promo. Great stuff. MJF, the infamous pipe bomb. The infamous pipe bomb by MJF. Well, may not be as good as the original, but definitely going down as one of the best this year. Regardless of all that, you might not like him. You might not appreciate him. But we all know that the real promos of the year is Punk. It's CM Punk. Yes, despite what happened at the media scrum. If anything else, the media scrum might have actually helped to win this award. This man has the ability to make you love him, and then within an instant, make you hate him. Just as quickly as you started loving him, in a matter of 10, 15 minutes, I can't even remember how long his rant went on, he was able to turn the entire world of wrestling against him. Only a few people still supported him. Now, as time goes by, and I did a poll before I started this, and I might have to look at it real quickly. Fans have started to warm back up with him again. They started to forgive him for what he did, but you don't get a lot of people like CM Punk who can affect people emotionally. And I think a man like that, AEW needs to keep around. I do think that despite what happened, despite the craziness at the media scrum, and we'll talk about it, despite what he said, if he's willing to make amends, if he's willing to come back and make money and do what's right by the fans and for the company, bring him back. They should bring CM Punk back. I don't know about all the details that's going on. His rant against Colt Cabana, despite, this is just how I feel. His feud with Colt Cabana, despite how, childish it is, his lines some of the best lines that he had came from that media scrum rant. People still quote him. People still want to see CM Punk. And by the way, I'm currently looking at the tweet. Let me show y'all. Let me show you how your boy rolls real quickly. Let's go to Twitter real quick. So this tweet's only been up for about, 2 hours? 2 hours. Pretty much everyone's saying yes. Yeah, if it's all gonna come down to Punk, because it's gonna have to be a lot that gets hashed out. I agree with that, by the way. That's a good statement. I think it could be a good move, but amends will have to be made. Yes. 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 Got some no's in here. 1 no. Yes. 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 You have to live on Twitter to say no. A lot of people are saying yeah. The quote tweets are going to be interesting, though. We got, okay, well, the quote tweets might be different. No. Back to WWE. Okay, so who this? Okay. Yeah. I love this. They should. He was wrong. Made a mistake. We're over it. That's how I feel. Yes. Okay, never mind. So it's a bit split, but a lot of people are saying yes. And I think ultimately that's a good sign. Over time, people are forgiving him more and more. He's one of the best. And when you got someone that great, you can't let him go. So, promotion of the year. Usually, I literally would pick anything other than WWE. I don't think I've ever given WWE promotion of the year. First time for everything. I can't believe I'm doing this. Something happened. I don't know what it was exactly. Maybe it was Cody returning. Maybe it was Vince leaving. Maybe it was all the above. There was a shift in the wrestling business. And WWE, a company that everybody just rallied against, the company that no one wanted to be in, the Eva Empire, suddenly became the place to be again. The place that fans wanted to be at. It was crazy, man. The shift from AEW being the wrestling show to, to take down the sports entertainment entity. That all went away the moment Triple H took over. And now I'm not saying AEW didn't have a great year. AEW fell off a lot due to the media scrum and backstage drama and losing Cody and losing William Regal. It lost a lot of people. So I'm not going to say they had the best year, but it wasn't a bad year for AEW. NXT. Look, even after Triple H took over, NXT it's depressing. I'm sorry. Impact Wrestling wasn't that bad either. Impact Wrestling had a lot of good shows this year. But WWE, I feel like it finally reclaimed its respect with the audience. When Triple H took over, it was like it got a renewed sense of interest. All the shows are selling out. Practically Rumble, WrestleMania, the next few months of pay-per-views, they're practically sold out at this point. Everyone is excited to go to WWE events. They're excited to watch WWE. I don't think I've ever been this excited to watch WWE since 2013. It's been a while. And it feels good. It feels good to finally be able to say WWE is the best promotion of the year. And not have to say it because I'm told to say it. In that vein, Commentator of the year. Yeah. Look, Excalibur was great. Love me some Tony Schiavone. Love me some Taz. Love me some Jim Ross. When Vince McMahon left, and even before Triple H took over, I thought Michael Cole's commentary at WrestleMania was really good. But when Triple H left, when Triple H took over and Vince McMahon left, and you took the gloves off of Michael Cole, it was almost like he reverted back to Michael Cole from the early days of him and Taz. Like, I feel like Cole is back to form. He went back to form this year. I'm telling you. It surprised me. Michael Cole is commentator of the year. I would never say that. Man, this was 2011. I would think I'm crazy if I ever said that. Fuck. But man, I'm telling you, this year, he's been phenomenal. Like, outside of Michael Cole, I would have to give it to Pat McAfee. But nah, Cole has been phenomenal this year. It's not close. The way he sells the storylines, him mentioning Bullet Club, I'm telling you, like, took the gloves off. He's been phenomenal this year. I love it, man. He's really been doing a great job. And again, you don't usually see me give credit where credit is due. But I'm going to give it to Michael Cole. So, look, best segment of the year. I went back and forth on this one. Originally, my segment of the year was going to go to Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle's sit-down interview. You know that interview where Rollins told Riddle that his wife left him. She took your kids because they don't want to see your bitch ass anymore. And he's like, I'm going to fuck you up. Like, that is some of the greatest things. So that is some of the greatest shit I've seen so far. That entire segment was crazy. I still go back and watch it. From a personal standpoint, that's one of my favorite segments that I've seen WWE do. But I think it's kind of hard to say MJF's pipe bomb promo was not the segment of the year. When MJF no-showed that, I don't know what it was some AEW fan event. He no-showed it, and we were all worried. We were all worried that he was going to no-show the pay-per-view and fuck over Wardlow. And he showed up and did it anyways. And then he showed up on Dynamite, June 1st. And he cut literally this generation's version of the pipe bomb. He fucking tore down AEW and Tony Khan, essentially saying, hey, I guess you don't want to push me because I'm not a WWE guy, right? And then this led, seriously, from that point forward, this led MJF into one of the biggest runs that nobody has ever seen. Homeboy, every time he gets on the microphone, has people's attention. Now, he's the top guy. He's the guy. He's the face. He talked his way. He talked his way into that top spot. I remember when he returned. He was gone for like a couple months after that, but then he returned in Chicago. And the people of Chicago, for the record, this is CM Punk's hometown. He just won the championship. He got a bigger pop than CM Punk in Chicago. I want you to think about that for a minute. How powerful that is. This is Chicago, number one. And it's CM Punk. He got a bigger pop in Chicago than CM Punk did. Because of this segment. This is a year that's had a ton of segments. The Uzi segment with the Bloodline, Sami Zayn cracking them. I'm sorry, the MJF promo, to me, it's going down as one of the best ever. Like, it was this generation's pipe bomb. 2011 was CM Punk's pipe bomb. 2022 is MJF's pipe bomb. And now we move forward. We move forward, ladies and gentlemen, to the bidding war of 2024. Ultimately, do I think MJF is going to WWE? I think when it's all said and done, he's going to stay. I think he's just using that as a ploy to get him some heat. I don't think WWE is a place for him. Not right now. I think maybe later on down the line when Triple H has a lot more freedom and he's able to turn the company into more of a edgy product, we might see an MJF. I don't think it's the place for him. I think AEW is edgy enough and gives him the platform for him to be him. But we'll see. 2024 is a long way away. Just right now, I don't see him jumping ship. Best champion. This one's quick. Jon Moxley was a great champ. Thunder Rosa was awesome. Jamie Hayter is going to be a great champion. Toni Storm, so happy she's being recognized. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, great tag team champs. Give some love to FTR winning all the belts. Also give some love to the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed won the tag belts, looked awesome. Usos had a great run this year, winning both the tag belts. Bianca, the most dominant women's champion you've had all year. Mickie James showing up at the Rumble with the Impact Knockouts Championship. But I'm sorry, you know who the champion of the year is. Roman Reigns. Won both the world titles. Undefeated. Still has yet to be beaten. The most dominant champion we've seen in a long time. It's undisputed. It's an undisputed winner. When I think about champions, this is probably the most protected, most well-booked champion WWE has done since... I mean, no offense to John Cena. I think Roman Reigns is a better champion than John Cena. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin? Right? Since Austin? Is that fair? I'm gonna go with that. Best heel this year. But why waste your time? You know who the best heel is. It's MJF. Come on, start off with a feud with CM Punk, cut that pipe bomb promo, and then won the world title at the end of it. Excuse me? Like, why am I going to waste your time on this? You know it's MJF. MJF is going to be one of the best talents to come out of AEW when it's all said and done. When AEW, if it lives on to be as long as WCW or WWE, of course, people are going to know that MJF was one of the pillars of that promotion. And he's easily one of the best heels today. The guy that people consider to be the devil of wrestling. The devil of AEW. And yet people still love him. It's interesting. Babyface of the year. Jon Moxley left AEW last year. Turned himself into rehab. Checked himself into rehab to get his life together. Since he came back, everything he's done has been legendary. You cannot take anything away from this guy. He is definitely the heart and soul of AEW in a time when they needed him after the media scrum. He could have taken a vacation. He didn't. He says, I'm going to strap this company on my back and I'll carry you. I will carry you through this storm. And he did. Held the championship, the world championship, for a good majority of the year. A good portion of the year. Jon Moxley did that. Give him credit, man. Give him credit where credit is due. Jon Moxley really showed how much he loves wrestling this year. And don't even get me started on his stuff with GCW and all the other indie shows. He was working. He worked New Japan. He worked GCW. He worked other indie events. He was a workhorse this year. One of the most respected people in all of wrestling. If there was ever a Mr. AEW, yeah, it would be Jon Moxley. Rookie of the Year. You did this. you all did this. You're the ones that kept on saying, oh my God, he's so good. He only started wrestling this year and he put everyone to shame. You did this. You're the reason why he got that match against Roman Reigns. You're the reason he got that feud with The Miz. You're the reason he was at WrestleMania. You're the reason he's here in the first place. This is all your fault. So I don't want to hear anybody get mad at me for not making Wheeler Yuta the Rookie of the Year. I don't want to hear it. Because it should be Wheeler Yuta. It could have been Braun Breaker. Could have been anybody. Could have been Hook. No. I cannot believe I'm doing this. And best believe this is the last time I'm doing this shit. Because he won't be a rookie after this year. So for the first and final time, the Rookie of the Year is Logan Paul. Fuck this. I am mad at everybody. I'm mad at y'all for liking it. I'm mad at the wrestlers for letting him be this good. It should never be like this. I am forced to give credit to this sack of shit. What have you done? What has wrestling become? What have I become? Where I am giving Logan fucking Paul an award. Jeez Louise. You know what? It's all okay. It's okay. Because I will. Ladies and gentlemen, I will win one day. I definitely will win. You want to know why I will win? Because you don't understand. Karma's a bitch. Karma always wins. And just Alyx, when he says, when I say what I say, it might not happen right away. You might not believe me, but I always end up being right. And I told you, I remember when they signed him, I said, you will regret signing Logan Paul. And let me tell you something. If you know anything about CryptoZoo, I was right. I told y'all. You don't trust the Paul brothers. So, I don't have to worry about him doing anything in 2023. Because if America actually does what it's supposed to do, which 9 out of 10 it doesn't, then let me tell you guys something. Logan Paul won't even be able to wrestle because he's going to jail. This scam artist, CryptoZoo scam, is an embarrassment. And I hope they lock him up so I don't ever have to give him an award. The fact that Logan Paul is winning an award should make all of you upset. And you should be upset. So don't come crying to me about, where's Action Andretti? Where's Wheeler Yuta? You did this. You did this. I could be giving this award to Roxanne. Roxanne became NXT Women's Champion. I could be giving it to a lot of people. You make me give it to Logan Paul. And guess what? He going to jail now. He going to jail now. I'm moving on. I can forgive you, though. I'll forgive you. It's okay. Because the next award is something we all can agree on. We can all agree that this tag team is the most improved. Because they started off pretty good after what happened last year with the fiasco involving one of them, where he said some things and got himself suspended, put on ice. I feel like this year was their breakout year, and they became one of the best tag teams. One of the best things to come out of 2022. The most improved award is going to the Acclaim. Their rise was, it was It came out of nowhere, y'all. It's one of those years where, as popular as they are, no one predicted their rise. When they had that match against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland in Chicago, and the crowd did the "Oh, scissor me, daddy," when that shit hit and it was as big as it became as big as it did, no one saw it coming. And AEW did the right thing, capitalizing on it. I don't think they should have won the titles in Chicago. I agree that it was a better decision to have them win it at Grand Slam. Still though, like, it really makes you appreciate the talents of Anthony Bowens and, of course, Max Caster. The Acclaim is a hot tag team now. And I can see them getting even bigger in 2023. Breakout Star. Now, this one could be anything. We had a lot of breakout stars this year. Liv Morgan won the Women's Championship, became a household name by cashing in on Ronda Rousey. Freaking Jamie Hayter. Jamie fucking Hayter. Blew the roof off everywhere she hit. Just an awesome talent. Quite frankly, she probably deserves Breakout Star. If you want to give it to her, go for it. To me, and of course, Wheeler Yuta had a breakout year. Major name. That the series of matches he had with Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley just turned him into one of the best talents to come out of AEW this year. So you can't not say this wasn't his year. But the breakout star for me, and I had no problem taking heat for this. Breakout star is Wardlow. I was there when MJF did that little 10 lashes punishment for Wardlow, and then he no-sold it. Remember that? Remember when MJF and Shawn Spears brought Wardlow to the ring and he did the 10 lashes? Remember that? And Wardlow no-sold it. I was in the arena when that happened. I remember the first time he no-sold it, I went, that's a fucking badass. That's a badass right there. I fully embraced Wardlow this year. And Wardlow has always been he's always been a great talent. This was the year I embraced him as like, yeah, that's a main event player. That's a future main event player right there. That is someone that people will pop for every time he comes out. Every time he hits a power bomb, it gets a pop. He won the TNT Championship. His feud with Samoa Joe, ongoing. Probably going to go into next year. He's having a match this Wednesday, matter of fact. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to get the TNT title back, as he should. Another star that AEW created. Beat MJF. Has a lot going for him. Destroyed Punk, by the way. Didn't win, but he destroyed Punk. Yeah, this is one of those things where you really appreciate the stuff that AEW. You appreciate there being a second company, because I do not think Wardlow would be as over as he is if he came to WWE. But because of AEW being where it is and what it is, it became a massive hit. So, I do think, as big as he is, he could have been bigger. There's a lot of things that really hindered him. When you really think about it, the stuff with MJF, him no showing an event, him not getting a lot of TV time, even though he was champion. It's scary when you think about how big he could still be. We're only scratching the surface with Wardlow. I'm excited to see what he does in 2022. Now, we get to the final two awards. I told you, these last two are the ones that I'm going to talk most about. Let's start off with the best matches of 2022. These matches, to me, when I name you the matches that we were blessed with seeing, you're gonna be like, holy shit, we ate this year. And y'all ate. You ate. You had some of the best wrestling matches that I personally have ever seen. We started off the year with a banger. Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page. Last year, they had that 1 hour draw. Just amazing stuff. And then this year, they had the follow-up with judges. Didn't even need them. Lots of blood. Lots of stiff shots. It was the beginning of Hangman Page's reign. And those two went out there and had one of the best matches that I've ever seen from AEW. Bryan Danielson has a lot of them this year. His match with Daniel Garcia, the second one, by the way. Again, another 5-star match. The match that made people chant, "You're a wrestler." People wake up to how good Daniel Garcia is. Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. The match that made Wheeler Yuta a household name. Rampage, April 8th, 2022. And then we had Anarchy in the Arena from Double or Nothing. The Jericho Appreciation Society took on Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Santana, and Ortiz. And this was, to me, when they did Stadium Stampede, which was cinematic, they recorded it. I remember saying, man, that's going to be crazy when they do that in front of fans. Imagine how crazy that would be if they did that with a live audience. This is what that was. Anarchy in the Arena was just, I've seen it a good 3-4 times. Even now, I'm just like, this is incredible. Blown away by the level of violence. The level of violence in this match is terrifying. Freaking Eddie Kingston walked out like the Grim Reaper, carrying gasoline, looking to burn Chris Jericho. The photo's right there. Take a look at that. That's just terrifying, man. That match was something else. And even now, I still think about it. Eddie definitely used to be a world champion. Just so we're clear. We got 2 dog collar matches on this list, by the way. The first one we'll talk about is CM Punk versus MJF. That dog collar match at Revolution, sheer classic. Like, those two have such great chemistry. And CM Punk came out to his ROH theme and his ROH gear. Even hit the Pepsi plunge. You know, the theme of that match was just phenomenal. Just really, really enjoyed that match. Just an awesome, awesome, bloody fight. If I was to name a women's match on this list that I personally think is the best female match all year, and we've had a full year of great matches. Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter at Full Gear was phenomenal. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania was phenomenal. The best one, I really thought about it, and it might be recency bias, you have to forgive me, but Hikaru Shida versus Jamie Hayter was next level. That was the match. After I watched it, I said, okay, enough. Stop saying the women's division sucks in AEW. We are past that now. If this is the quality of matches we're gonna get from them, I don't want to hear it no more. I'm done. Quit hating on the female wrestlers in AEW. I'm done with it. That match was the best female wrestling match I've seen all year. Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland taking on the Acclaim. Classic tag match. And All Out. Made people wake up to how great the Acclaim was. And then you get to Hell in a Cell. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. One of the most frustrating matches I have ever been pleasured to watch. Because a lot of people are going to sit here and tell me Cody Rhodes was very gutsy. Cody Rhodes did a great job. Cody Rhodes showed heart. And I still say to this day that was one of the stupidest things he could have ever done. He's a hypocrite. He talked about it. I think he talked about it on that Raw clip show where they talked about the best of 2022. Cody Rhodes even said, I'm a hypocrite. He says, it is okay to wrestle hurt, but never wrestled injured. And he did the one thing he told his students not to do. He wrestled injured. He went into the match injured. Oh, well, he couldn't have tore it any more further out the bone. But he was in a position where he could have hurt himself again. What if he would have hurt himself another time? He gambled, and it paid off for him. Got a 5-star classic rating. But still, like, that was fucking reckless. And I will continue to say it was a reckless performance, despite how people will rate it. But give him credit where credit is due. That was the best match of the series between him and Seth Rollins. It wasn't the only 5-star match he had. He had another 5-star match with Sammy Guevara. That goddamn ladder match at Beach Break. Give me a break. That was fun. Let me tell y'all something. The spot where Sami Zayn did a double jump cutter off the ladders, that still ranks as one of the craziest moments of the entire year. And it's so bothersome to me knowing that the crowd turned on him. I don't like that the crowd turned on Sami. But the moment they started introducing him and Ty on TV, it was over with. It was over with. But, man, that match with him and Cody was outstanding. Outstanding. Speaking of outstanding, Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, my goodness. Where do I start? Which one do you want to talk about? Which Will Ospreay match do you want to talk about? Should we talk about his match with Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Kingdom? Or should we talk about his match with Kazuchika Okada in the finals of G1 Climax? The match with him at G1 is better than the one he had at Wrestle Kingdom. Or should we talk about his match with Orange Cassidy? His match with Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door. I don't think anyone has had more 5-star matches than Will Ospreay this year. Dave Meltzer's favorite wrestler so far. What about his match with him and you in the Kingdom taking on? Did I say the Kingdom? Sorry. Wait. What is his team called again? See, I'm getting his team mixed up with another tag team. When him and his boys took on the Elite, that triple threat match was, oh my goodness. Will Ospreay's had quite a year when it comes to wrestling. You also had the Elite taking on Death Triangle. The Elite taking on Death Triangle have had a series of matches that have just blown everything out of the water on every single show. And we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it 2 more times. We got one coming up this week and then in January next year. I'm telling y'all, man. This has been quite a year. But when you talk about the top 3, you talk about the top 3 greatest matches that we've seen this year, you have to bring up Jesus Christ. You have to bring up Sheamus versus Gunther. Sheamus versus Gunther at Clash at the Castle is one of the greatest Intercontinental Championship matches I have ever seen in WWE history. Gunther has been such an amazing champion. I almost kind of feel like I should give him best champion. Now, Roman Reigns still wins that award, but Gunther, holy shit. He has been on fire as IC champ. It's not even close in terms of who's been IC champion. I really think about in the last few years, y'all, it's been a while since I've seen an IC champion that I took seriously. Yeah, he's one of the best IC champs they've had. It's that good. And that match with Sheamus, that was the night I went, okay, Sheamus, there it is. There's your classic match. That's the match that I will remember when you go into the Hall of Fame. That was his Hall of Fame match. Just a banger after 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 banger. The other match was FTR versus the Young Bucks too. This was the year for tag team wrestling. When FTR took on the Young Bucks, I remember their match in 2020. It was great. It wasn't what we got this year. This was the match where I went, yeah. That was the match I wanted to see when they first had a match. This year, April 6th, those two tag teams showed us what real tag team wrestling is. Young Bucks and FTR, man, they really, really tore it up. They tore the house down with that tag match. I could sit here all day and go through more matches. I think we all know what the match of the year is. We all know what is really going down as the matches that represent professional wrestling. This might be cheating. I don't give a damn. The match of the year goes to the trilogy. The trilogy. FTR versus the Briscoes. Ring of Honor. Supercard of Honor. Final Battle. And of course, Death Before Dishonor. All three matches are the winners for match of the year. Anyone that says tag team wrestling can't draw, anyone that says tag team wrestling is dead, I want you to go back and watch one of these matches. I implore you to watch them all if you haven't. This, my friends, shows you that when it's done right, with the right people and the right story, tag team wrestling can be just as good as a singles match, if not better. I think this is the second year where a tag team match won match of the year. Now, last year, actually no, last year I gave it to Bryan and Kenny Omega, but second runner-up was that Rey Fenix and Pentagon and Cero Miedo versus the Young Bucks cage match from All Out. Man, tag team wrestling in AEW, it's crazy. The resurgence of tag team wrestling is one of those things where when Vince was in charge, it wasn't appreciated. But it's been one of the best things across the board in every company. Thanks to people like FTR and the Young Bucks and the Briscoes. You cannot sit here and tell me this should not be match of the year. And I've seen a lot of awesome matches. None of them come close. They just don't. It's an amazing trilogy. It's going down in history as one of the greatest trilogies, period. So yeah, the trilogy. I'm sorry, I can't pick one. I cannot pick one. Whatever one you want to pick it. And I'm scared because now that this feud is over with, what are they going to do for Ring of Honor? What is Ring of Honor going to do? What the hell is Ring of Honor going to do? You don't have Briscoes and FTR to carry you anymore. You just don't. What are they going to do, man? So yes. Match of the year. FTR versus Briscoes. Ladies and gentlemen, we close out. This award ceremony with the most noteworthy award out of them all. The headline of the year. Like I told y'all, this was the year for wrestling news. If you don't have a Twitter, if you don't follow Fightful Select, if you don't follow PW Insider, LGQ.com, shout out, of course, to Wrestling Inc., aka Raj Jerry. This was the news. This was the year for wrestling news. People like Sean Ross Sapp bought him a house. because of all the news that came. I don't even know where to start. Like, this should be its own video. One of the craziest years in terms of wrestling news. We're going to start from the very beginning. I mean, right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, Mickie James. Mickie freaking James came into the Rumble as Impact Women's Champion. We talk about Forbidden Door. You don't see that a lot. Now, by the end of the year, it's not the most talked about thing, but still. Like, that was huge. Massive. Especially for Impact Wrestling. The Undertaker. Taking his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame. To me, that's a long time coming. And that speech is one of the best speeches that I've seen anybody cut. I hope he doesn't come back. That whole never say never bullshit, no, stay retired. Stay retired, Taker. You had a great career. Don't screw it up. Stay retired. Thank you. That's all I'm saying. The craziness with Kota Ibushi in New Japan. Remember this? Kota Ibushi releasing a string of tweets saying how frustrated he was with New Japan Pro Wrestling's management and alleges power harassment, abuse. It was so bad that New Japan Pro Wrestling had to release a statement apologizing. Freaking, I think Kota Ibushi's mother tried to kill herself, right? She tried to commit suicide? Or, I don't know, she like had a stroke or something like that? It was crazy, man. That story, you have to imagine, like, if that story's not being talked about enough, then this year was really crazy. I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about that when we lost Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. The death of Razor Ramon, oh my goodness. That was heartbreaking. Like, there was a lot of deaths that took place in wrestling over the last few years. That one hit me. That hit close to home because I grew up with Scott Hall. And that's one of those things where you look back on it and you go, damn, take care of yourselves, man. I mean, this year we had a lot of deaths. Antonio Inoki, passed away due to natural causes. That was a big death to a lot of people. And then we lost the Green Ranger, y'all. We lost Tommy. And I'm bringing him up because he's a wrestling fan. We lost Jason David Frank. That was freaking depressing. Come on. We lost the Green Ranger, y'all. This year in terms of deaths, God. I am very happy that we didn't lose Big E, though. Because Big E, when he got dropped on his head and he broke his neck, that was one of the scariest moments I've seen. And it's not looking good. It doesn't look like they're going to bring him back. We're going to see where he sits. And I think March. If he's healthy enough, they might consider letting him take bumps. But I don't know, man. That was a devastating injury. And I'm at the point now where if he doesn't come back, at least he won a world title. We can at least say he won the world title. Not a lot of people can say that. So let's just be happy that we didn't lose him. Jeff Hardy was arrested for his third DUI after being given another opportunity with AEW. He got arrested and sent to rehab. One of those decisions that I'm glad Tony Khan made. He made the right call on that. That was one of those calls where I was like, bro, you can't let him slide with this. You gotta send him to rehab. Another person to go to rehab, Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle failed his drug test and was sent to rehab as well. Although his situation might be a little bit more... That one we might have to talk about in 2023, because I'm hearing other stories about how he's not in rehab. He's cheating on his significant other or just doing whatever the hell. Lots of allegations with abuse and stuff. And losing his family. There's a lot going on with Matt Riddle there that we don't know about. So we'll definitely talk about that. Where's Miro? What happened to Miro? Lots of stories about Miro. We'll definitely get into that when we get more information. Sean Ross Sapp says he's going to release something this year. We'll talk about that later. But he's been gone for a while. That whole craziness where, he got hurt, then he was off TV because he was filming something, then he came back but only had like 4 matches, then he was just gone. And the story is, creative has nothing for him. That might not be true though. We'll talk about that in another video. Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor. He saved Ring of Honor from going under. Now, some people might not like this. They might consider this to be the downfall of AEW this year. Because I feel like we saw a lot more Ring of Honor than AEW. Or a lot more Ring of Honor than we wanted. So hopefully next year we see less Ring of Honor. But he saved Ring of Honor. He bought it. And now he ended up running two wrestling promotions. Which probably wasn't the best thing for him. Vince McMahon sent Shane McMahon home after a debacle following the Royal Rumble. And then when Stephanie McMahon took her leave of absence, she actually was leaving. She left WWE. He buried her on the way out. An op-ed. Completely buried his own daughter. Like, when you think about what ended up happening, it's just like, wow. Just some crazy, crazy shit. Saraya. The story of Saraya leaving WWE, going to AEW. That debut at Grand Slam, big moment, and her returning. Such a great story. I am so happy she came back. I am so happy she's wrestling again. It puts a big smile on my face. What doesn't put a smile on my face? Nick Aldis. Former NWA World Champion Nick Aldis announces that he was leaving NWA over disrespect shown to the women's division and his wife. Essentially, Billy Corrigan, and I think Trevor Murdoch and some other people were saying that the women don't draw. The women are not important. Nick Aldis took issue with that and said, fuck y'all. Screw you guys, I'm going home. And as a result, Tyrus was made the NWA World Champion. The only time NWA was relevant. This entire year. That's saying something, right? We already talked about MJF no showing a meet and greet. And almost threatening to walk out. We were kind of scared there for a second. But that was a big story. MJF, whether he was going to come back or leave, him being gone after that promo, who knew what was going to happen? But he really turned himself into someone that people want to see now. The end of the UK brand of NXT. NXT UK closed its doors. We lost Nigel McGuinness. That really, really sucked. And they basically fused NXT 2.0 and the UK brand together. That's one loss I'm sad about, but one loss that I'm not sad about is the end of the 24/7 championship. Thank God that's over. I am so happy they dropped that 24/7 championship. It's so ridiculous when you think about what that championship did to the overall product. I hate it with a passion, and I'm so glad it's gone. So glad that belt was thrown in the trash. But then when we think about the top 5 stories of 2022, the first one we'll talk about. And actually, before I get into the top 5, there's one more I want to mention. This is not that big, but it should be mentioned. I do appreciate that New Japan Pro Wrestling started its own women's division and started its own IWGP Women's Championship. And Kairi Hojo, Kairi Sane, was the inaugural champion. When we talk about the top 5 stories of 2022, first on that list was one that happened recently. Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose being fired by WWE over photos that were deemed too risque. I mean, she was practically naked, showing her punani and her tits on Fan Time. That was one of those things where, even now, I'm like, I understand why she was released, but I don't think that was a good move. I still think she should have been suspended. Something. Like, you spent all this time, over 400 days, as the NXT Women's Champion. That's how you're going to go out? Now, granted, this should also be talked about. Mandy Rose is currently, I'm not making this up, she is currently making over $500,000 a month. $500,000 a month on Fan Time. She's going to be a millionaire by next year, y'all. Round of applause. Hey, get your thing, man. If you can make money just by being naked, showing your thing, like, why bump? What do you want her to do? I wouldn't even worry about going back to wrestling. Why even put your body out there like that? You know what I mean? $500K a month. What do you say to that? I'm serious. Like, what do you say to that? I think it's safe to say she made the right call, right? William Regal being fired from WWE, joining AEW, starting the Blackpool Combat Club, by the way, then leaving AEW and rejoining WWE. What? Like, just me saying it's just like, how often does that happen? How often does that happen, bro? You tell me about that. How often that happens? That doesn't happen a lot. Okay, we talk about Cody Rhodes leaving AEW for WWE, which was a huge story. But I'm sorry, like, William Regal being fired, joining AEW, then leaving AEW to go back to WWE. Like, that whole thing was crazy. Now, of course, he went back because of his son. But I do have to question, like, there's gotta be more than that. There's gotta be more to this. There's gotta be more to Cody leaving. There's gotta be more to William Regal leaving and going back to WWE. There's something in the water. There's something in the water with AEW that we're not being told of. And eventually, it's gonna come to light. Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out on WWE. One of the craziest stories this year. Holy shit. The night on Raw when Sasha and Naomi said, look, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're not booking this women's division all that great. We're tired of being jobbers. Went into Joel Laurinaitis' room, threw the belts on his desk, and they both said, sayonara. And I remember, keep this in mind, I remember when Sasha Banks walked out, I was one of the first people to say it. I said, look here, y'all. You might not want to hear it. I think she's done. I think she's done with WWE. You don't walk out on WWE twice. Because she walked out in 2019 and she walked out again. There's a lot of baggage there. There's a lot of grievances that should be had and fixed. And I don't think she's ready to go back. Sasha Banks is different now. This isn't the same Sasha Banks that you knew of. She sees herself as a Hollywood star. She doesn't eat pizza. She eats steak with vegetables, like Vince McMahon. That's what she said. Sasha really, really had it with WWE. And when she walked out, and she, we can now say, ended her relationship with WWE in June. So Raj Giri reported that in June, and everyone was like, nah, that's not true. I don't see her walking out. Well, we've been confirmed that, yeah, her contract status with WWE ended in June. So she's been a free agent. Okay, so she had a non-complete clause that's going to expire, that will expire the first week of January. But for the most part, she's been out of WWE since June. And starting next year, she will be a free agent. Mercedes Moné. Naomi, I don't know. Naomi might not. I don't know what's going on with Trinity right now. She might just go back to WWE. Or she might go to AEW too. I don't fucking know. I see her going back more than Sasha. But I remember when it happened, I was the main one saying she's not going back. A lot of other people are like, I don't know, she's gonna go back since Triple H took over. I said, and for what? What is she gonna do? To do what? She already won the women's championship, both of them. She won the tag team titles. She may be at WrestleMania. She fought everybody. What is she gonna do? I said it then, and I'm saying it now. The best decision she can make right now is to bet on herself and see how far she can climb. The sky's the limit for her. The sky is the limit. She can do pageant shows. She can do movies. She can do podcasts. She can do cons. She can do whatever she wants. Fashion. Wasn't she doing some fashion week? Some Hollywood walk? Let's see what she can do, man. Sasha Banks leaving WWE, one of the craziest stories all year. It never stopped being... She never stopped being talked about. She just never stopped being talked about. Even now, people still talk about her. She's one of the... I think she's one of the highest trending topics in WWE. Not just WWE, but wrestling, period. But when it's all said and done, there are two stories that people are going to talk about. The media scrum. The AEW all-out media scrum. Where CM Punk threw a hissy fit and tore down Colt Cabana. He tore down the Elite, the EVPs, and embarrassed the company. He embarrassed Tony Khan. It was such a chaotic environment. So much so that a brawl happened. A brawl between Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Ace Steel, CM Punk. Led to all of them being suspended. It was so bad. It made the entire company look so bad that many thought that was it. We don't see AEW recovering from this. It did. Eventually, it did recover from it. But man, that entire ordeal was... Even now, we have people talking about it. It's going to be talked about for years to come. Everyone says that's it. That was CM Punk's swan song. I don't think it is. I think he will return. Remember, I'm the one that says Sasha Banks when you go back to WWE. I think I'm safe in saying Punk will return. I said it. I think I'm right. He's coming back. But if we talk about how to destroy your career in 20 minutes, he broke a lot of people's hearts that day. He destroyed he burnt a lot of bridges that day. And when he comes back, he's going to have to make a lot of amends. And quite frankly, any other year, this would be the story of the year. Hell, I think people are saying it is the story of the year. It was a dark time. The darkest period in AEW history. Losing Omega, the Young Bucks, and Omega, the Young Bucks, CM Punk, all in one fell swoop. It put AEW in a very, 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 very bad place. And I hope CM Punk comes back and makes up for it. That being said, as crazy as this whole thing was fucking embarrassment. As crazy as that was, as crazy as Sasha Banks walking out in WWE was, as crazy as William Regal being fired, going to AEW, leaving AEW, go back to WWE was, Cody Rhodes jumping from AEW to WWE was, Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back. All these deaths. Jeff Hardy getting arrested. Matt Riddle going to rehab. Mandy Rose being fired. The end of the NXT UK brand. ROH being bought. All of these crazy stories. There is one story that is going down as the story of the goddamn decade. That, my friends, is Vince McMahon retiring as the CEO of WWE. This changed everything. It's incredible to me that even just last year, I was saying, this man is never going to retire. he is going to die as the owner of WWE. He will die first before he lets anyone else run this company. And for the longest time, I believed it. I was like, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell he's ever leaving. And it's crazy to me that as these allegations started popping up, I remember when they first started popping, I was like, I don't know, y'all. We live in a different time now. These allegations are abuse, mistreatment of women, NDAs, paying them millions upon millions of company money. Not his own money, but company dollars to keep them quiet. And they kept coming out one by one by one. I remember when it first happened, I was like, I don't know. I think this might be it. When you consider the fact that the government failed to take him down, the steroid trial, that didn't work. WCW couldn't put him out of business. But shit with Chris Benoit didn't put him out of business. All this other things that the scandal with Jimmy Snuka. So many things that he survived over the last 40 years. The one thing that took him out was his own well-doing. His genetic jackhammer. Vince McMahon was his own worst enemy. It got so bad that the board of WWE said, you have to go. You need to leave. And a man we thought would never, ever leave. I remember his match with Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. God, that sucked. A man that we thought would be with wrestling to the end of time. He stepped down. He actually stepped down. And that, my friends, took a company that, let's just be honest, when Vince McMahon was running WWE, he was running it into the ground. And we all had lost hope. We all just assumed this company is dead. Once this whole deal with Fox and Peacock ends, who cares? You know, he really just made me just sour on the entire product. But I will say this. I gotta say this. When he left, it was almost like I forgot all about the shit that he did. Now, I didn't. I still think he gave us many, many years, a full decade of horrible television, probably longer than that. Yeah, well, actually much longer than that, almost 2 decades. I remember when he left, I was just like, there it is. That was the moment where things changed for wrestling. For the better, I don't know. We'll have to find out. That, my friends, is going down as not just the moment of the year, that's the moment of the decade. I'm going to be talking about that when I'm in my fucking 40s. Think about that. That moment was so groundbreaking, so huge. You cannot sit here and tell me that's not going to be talked about for years to come. Vince McMahon is the reason why we're here as wrestling fans. We wouldn't be here talking about WWE. I wouldn't be here on YouTube talking about this if Vince McMahon didn't exist. Him stepping down to me was a game changer. Because Triple H taking over gave us a new sense of hope. I didn't think WWE had a future, but the moment he stepped down, it's like, wow, we're back. We're back on track. WWE has a future again. I am looking forward to the future. The future is bright for WWE. Now that Stephanie McMahon is the chairwoman, now that Triple H is in charge of creative, now that Nick Khan's in charge of business, WWE, the future. It's the future, my friends. And I'm excited. I am excited for the future of wrestling. And I hope and pray, for the sake of the business, for the sake of WWE, Vince stays gone. Stay your old ass far away, because I heard the stories of him trying to come back. I do not want to wake up next year and find out that he is back in charge. Nickname Mai, that better not happen. I will lose all respect for everybody in WWE if they let him come back. Do not let Vince come back. Stay the fuck away. If he comes back, WWE goes right back to being the horrible company it was. Stay the fuck away. Thank you for all the years. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for helping us get to where we are. Thank you for starting WrestleMania. Thank you for making us fans. But to be honest with you, this should have happened a long ass time ago. This should have happened, honestly, in the 2000s. He should have stepped down a long ass time ago. He has been out of touch for way too long. And it's hurt the product. Seriously. He has been out of touch for the longest time. And with Triple H in charge, and you can sit here all day and talk about whether Triple H is doing a good job or not. Listen, Vince has been in charge for 4 decades. Triple H has only been in charge for 4 months. I think we should at least give Triple H a decade. 1 decade to see how well he does. Yeah, this is good. This was for the best. I'm excited for what's to come. Without question, what people are going to be talking about for years to come when it comes to 2020 is that Vince McMahon stepped down. And that, my friends, is my end of the year wrestling awards. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys for making me a part of your day. I'm just going to take a few minutes to hang out with you guys in the live chat. This is the question. The goal for this week is to do 2 more streams. I was actually going to do 1 more, but I'll do 2 more. I'll do 1 on Wednesday for Dynamite, because I do think that's when Sean Ross Sapp drops the story about Miro. So we'll talk about Miro on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. And then Friday is the big Friday Night SmackDown show. Yeah. That show involving John Cena and, of course, our boy Kevin Owens taking on Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. It's going to be fun. But after that, that's it. And then you'll see me in the new year. New year, I'm looking to get a new look for the streams, for the live chat. But we'll be back to doing weekly live streams again. And I'll be doing regular uploads. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for making me a part of your day. As always, do the YouTube things as you file out. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe. Tell me your favorite moments of 2022. Thank you guys so much for an awesome year. This is probably one of the most profitable years I've ever had as a YouTube streamer, as a YouTube content creator. I got to interview wrestlers. I got my name on wrestling news websites. I got to make connections with Sean Ross Sapp and Denise Salcedo and Victoria. And I'm going to interview next year a bigger name. I'm not telling you who it is, but we got a lot of interviews coming next year. And it's all because of you. So let's close out this year on a good note. And let's go into 2023 even stronger. How far am I from 33,000 subscribers? I think I'm like 50 away. Like 50 subs away from 33,000. Let's end the year with 33,000 subscribers. Let's do that. We can do it. But hey, regardless of where you are, whenever you watch this, thank you so much. And I appreciate you for making me a part of your day. As always, you guys are amazing. And do know, no matter what year it is, no matter what day, what time, no matter when you need it, you are always welcome here in Alyx's world. A place that is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. You have a good one.